Many South Koreans are overworked. And it's not just a matter of packed lunches and late nights. It's affecting people's health.
Death by overwork is so common that it has a name: qualarosa. In August of 2017, a middle-aged man named Chae Hong collapsed at his workplace and died after having complained of being especially tired. It was a Saturday, and he had been working through his weekends since people could remember. He would go to work at 7 a.m. every day and come home at 10 p.m. until he just couldn't anymore. A cause of death was never determined, but his widow managed to win a rare qualarosa case against his employer.
But how did we get to this point? And what can be done about it?
According to the Organization for Economic Cooperation and Development, or OECD, South Koreans work 2,069 hours a year, compared to the average of 1,764 hours. Americans work 1,780 hours a year. That's 240 less than South Korea. Recently, a video game developer died from overworking after the crunch time right before the game was published. One of his coworkers told the BBC in a covert interview that another one of their team members had committed suicide 6 months before due to work pressure.
Video game companies have recently come under scrutiny for their long hours and the phenomenon called crunch time.
It's when workers have to spend weeks working overtime and weekends, sacrificing almost everything to meet the big deadline. Because most video game developers are salaried, they're never paid overtime.
These factors can result in death from exhaustion, but more often, they lead to mental illness.
South Korea has the highest rate of deaths by suicide among developed countries, which researchers attribute to high levels of work-related stress and stigma against mental illnesses like depression and anxiety, according to the World Health Organization. South Korean police attribute 500 suicides a year to work-related pressure. South Koreans work harder than almost every country, and young people entering the workplace are expected to conform to the norms of long hours and not talking about the stressors of it. Psychologist Dr. Paul J. Park lays out the cultural factors contributing to the treatment barrier in his doctoral thesis. He attributes the obstacles to getting help to a low trust of strangers and the fear that there would be social ramifications. According to the New York Times, working long hours was seen as a badge of honor, especially for the family breadwinner. A compounding reason for the epidemic of overworking is a really tough job market. Youth joblessness rates hit 10.5% in 2018, the highest they've ever been since first recorded in 1999 by Statistics Korea. There were 1.2 million unemployed people in May 2018, a 126,000-person increase from the year before. President Moon Jae-in has said that his top priority is job creation for young people, but his plans have yet to take full effect. The problem of overworking was largely brushed under the rug, until a high-profile report of bus drivers falling asleep at the wheel and causing fatal accidents opened up an examination of overworking culture. In response, President Moon Jae-in launched a Right to Rest campaign that aimed to cut the legal maximum of 68 work hours a week to 52 hours. But policymakers have struggled not just to allow workers options to work less, but also to actually get them to use those options. Seoul's government decided to take an even more drastic option than just telling people to work less. They shut down all government employees' computers at night. Starting in March 2018, they pulled the plug on all computers at 8 p.m., and a month later, moved it an hour earlier to 7 p.m. You'd think that shutting down someone's computer would stop them from working, but 67% of their workers applied to be exempt from the forced shutdown, according to the BBC. But some workers are taking drastic measures to disconnect from their real lives. After one of many 100-hour work weeks, lawyer Young Suk Kwon decided that he was going to decompress by going into solitary.
Of course, you can't go into solitary confinement at a real prison on a whim. So he and his wife Ji Hong-no started a jail spa called Prison Inside Me.
Prison Inside Me is technically a stress reduction facility that operates as a nonprofit. It costs $90 a night to stay in one of their 28 cells, which is a 54-square-foot room with a window. Inside the room, there's a small table, a kettle, tea set, a diary, a toilet, and a wash bowl. They receive 2 meals a day of rice porridge and pickled vegetables. And that's it. The doors lock from the outside. Much of South Korea's population is overworking. But it's not just them. Mexico has the highest average hours of work per year, beating South Korea by 74 hours. And Costa Rica follows closely behind at number 2.
As young workers who do desire a better work-life balance gain more respect and power in the workplace, it's possible that social norms will change. But experts agree, it'll take a lot more 100-hour work weeks.
Hey guys, thank you so much for watching. If you liked what you saw, please like, comment, subscribe. We're making a lot of fun stuff here at Cheddar, and we hope you keep watching.